So about that Android TV.
Yeah. You guys want to talk about Android TV, huh?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I mean, are you...
I want to hear your guys' opinion, too, because I come from probably a completely different perspective.
I don't use it. It comes baked into TV, or you have to, or you have to have one of the older set-top boxes.
Yeah, I wish Android TV had evolved. Like we 5 years ago, whatever, they sold us on Google TV, and I was such a big believer in it. And then Android TV just kind of came out, and we got a couple of devices, like the Shield and things like that were doing it. But aside from the TV implementations and things like that, you don't really hear anything about it. And so, like, as someone who's doing TV, within an app kind of form, how do you feel about Google? Like, were you sold on Android TV by them, or?
So, I mean, no. Let me. First of all, let me say that actually Android TV is one of our best platforms.
Really?
Best performing platform. So, one of our best performing platforms. So, I was coming from our perspective. We're a video app. Like, that's all we do. TV platforms like Android TV are key to our success, and it's one of our top performing platforms, and it's been growing actually since we were when we were on the show. I was on the show 2 years ago, right when we had launched, right after Android TV had kind of come out. So this is a good time to kind of like look back and be like, what happened there? It's been growing steadily. I think it's been one of the best investments we've made as a company. I wouldn't recommend it. If you're especially a video app, I think it's a really
you have
to be there. Like, I think where Google, where maybe there needs to be improvement is the ecosystem has sort of not gotten bigger than it started. Like Sony kind of signed in for it as an OEM developer, and then there have been some really cool new boxes like the Shield, right, that have come in. Talking about Xiaomi has a really low cost $69 Mi
really
box,
nice
which is a really nice
4K
thing.
box,
and we actually see a lot of people using that.
Really?
So yeah, I mean, like, I would say that, but we haven't entered a world where there's a standardized operating system yet for televisions. Yeah. And I think Android was trying to be that with Android TV, and it hasn't happened. But to be fair, it hasn't happened. Apple hasn't done that either. Chromecast, which is, one could argue, another confusing thing that Google has another kind of pseudo-competing platform, and Chromecast has not done it. So I think the problem is that there's just a lot of fragmentation, and people only upgrade their TVs every 5 to 7 years. Yeah. So like we're used to the noise that mobile makes, which is like everybody's always, upgrading their phones every 2 years. Oh my gosh, I got to get the latest Pixel or the whatever. But, when was the last time you upgraded your TV? I haven't upgraded my TV in a long time. So you're just not going to see that pace that you're used to with mobile. And that's just, I think, the nature of the beast a little bit with television. Yeah.
And actually, so to that point, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I laugh when I think my parents had a TV literally for 20 years before we changed it out from like 87 to sometime in the 2000s, right? It was like an insane long period of time, and then bought another TV. But we're seeing that window get smaller. Like I bought my last TV like 5 years ago, and now I'm thinking about buying another one. So I'm curious if TVs will catch up to that pace because there's so much changes in resolution and functionality and things like that, and prices come down. Like you can get a great 40-inch TV for like $200 now. It's crazy. Yeah. But you said that Android TV is one of your most kind of your best kind of platforms. But how does that compare in scale? Like, what is the percentage of Android TV users versus the other platforms?
I mean, I will say we have a pretty good half and half split between TV platforms and mobile. So we see a lot on TV, and I think you have to realize we're a video app, so we're part of people's routine when it comes to like if you watch Netflix. A lot of our users that they'll watch Haystack for maybe 30 minutes and then they'll turn on Netflix. So we're part of that like routine, and
it's like they turn on Haystack to catch up with the news a little bit before they go into a movie.
So mileage may vary. If you're an app developer that builds something else, like maybe Android TV is not the right platform for you, or Apple TV for that matter, any of these TV platforms. But for us, it's like been key to our success. It's been a huge thing. I'm interested in hearing your opinion fully. So you don't use it at all. You turn it on, and so you have cable, or what do you have?
I have a Roku and Chromecast.
And you use none of them, or?
No, I use both of them.
Oh, but you just don't like.
But you haven't replaced them with an Android TV, or when you've used Android TV, it wasn't compelling enough to kind of like replace the Roku and what you get through the Roku.
No, the Roku still works perfect. No, I have the Roku 3, from years ago. I still have that, and a Chromecast in every room as well, just for those instances when I just want to use my phone. I don't want to have both remotes.
Yeah,
so that's how I watch TV.
And so you're kind of used to the Roku, and it's so. What we see is most people have one, maybe two devices in their living room that are streaming devices. It could be an Android TV, or it could be a Chromecast, could be a Fire TV from Amazon.
And the Samsung are now smart TVs, so they come with all that stuff built in. And actually, that's what my parents use. They use the smart TV platform with the Fire HD stick for the Amazon content.
Yeah. So here's where I think it boils down to is as you can hear, like there's a ton of fragmentation.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's streaming boxes, there's TVs that have their own functionality. I mean, there's just so many options.
Dongles and
compare that to the mobile world where you basically have like Android and iOS.
Apple.
Yeah, it's like, those are your options. So I think we're still in that, like, if you look at a technology curve, we're still at the maybe, just starting to ramp up on the technology front with the TV stuff. I think it's starting to be accelerated because of cord cutting. I think more people are looking for options off of cable. And I think that hopefully will start to consolidate some of this stuff. And I actually hope Google is one of the big players, and I think they will be. The question really becomes is what's going on with Chromecast? What's going on with Android TV? Like, what's the strategy? I will tell you this. I think Android TV has been a lot more successful than their previous attempt, which was Google TV. So like from a relative, I feel like if you think of it as like chipping away at the problem, like I think this was definitely, they took out a bigger chunk of the rock with this one than they did with Google TV.
I remember when they were making Google TV set-top boxes, and then like it died.
I loved it. I still have mine. there's one still in my sister's house. I got her. They use it as their Blu-ray player now because I moved them over to an Amazon Fire Stick because it made more sense for them because they were all in on Amazon and all that sort of stuff. But I love that box, and I'm bummed that it didn't grow from there and kind of got fractured. But with Android TV, so.
I have a question for you. Do you think that it would make sense for Android TV to become the sort of like standalone app on the phone, the way that Android Auto kind of is?
And then it what I mean? Beams into
because that's what I use my phone now with the Chromecast, right? It's like my phone is the computer that I have on me all the time.
Yeah. I actually don't think so, because I think that's what Chromecast is trying to achieve. I think there's always going to be a component where you'll need that functionality where you can beam your show onto the TV. But I think that a lot of people appreciate the simplicity of just having a dedicated remote with a TV.
Yeah.
Like one of the problems with Chromecast, it has lots of pluses and minuses. On the plus, it's like super easy to just kind of flip what you're doing on your phone to your TV. But like, what if your phone runs out of battery, right?
There's no remote.
Like you're what are you going to do? Like you're just stuck. So, it's not very elegant. Like you're literally switching like your UI paradigm from app to app. Like every app implements like how to do a little bit differently. Right. Whereas on your TV, you have one standard remote control and everything kind of functions based on a point and click paradigm. So I think that I personally, I was kind of in that 2 years ago. I was in the place where I was like, well, which one's going to win? Which paradigm? I think you need both. But I think that I now appreciate the whole paradigm of having a dedicated television app, that is there, sitting there, waiting for you at home at 7:00 for you to turn on. And I think that will continue to grow, actually. And I'm not saying that Chromecast is not going to continue to grow too. It has been for us as well.
No.
But I do feel like there's just something nice about having a dedicated system for it.
It's our relationship with TV, right?
Yeah.
The way that we built the relationship to have it be the central part of our living room. So it has to be this separate entity, right?
Yeah. Do you feel like Google is giving Android TV enough attention when it comes to kind of developing it out, new features?
So I will say, I actually think Android TV, like, again, if you're spoiled in thinking of like what they dedicate to their mobile platform, it doesn't feel like they're making a lot of progress.
Right.
But if you compare
it's different.
But if you compare it to other competitors in the marketplace, right? Other TV platforms, they're doing a pretty good job. In fact, with Android 7, they've done picture-in-picture, which is, I think, the only platform that's going to have picture-in-picture that I know of. We're excited to support that. They have something called live channels, which no one else has. So live channels is something we integrated with on Android TV. So if you, for instance, have a Sony Bravia, you have your programming guide, right? That usually has your cable shows, et cetera, et cetera. You can actually as an app developer, you can actually get into that programming guide, You don't have to, go to a different app
to
install. So it's actually integrated into your normal program.
Really nice.
So they are doing things that are that are innovative and different compared to other TV platforms. They're taking a much more deeper integration approach than other people are doing. And I think it's interesting. I don't necessarily agree with they're not putting fire behind it. I think they are. I just think that the whole ecosystem is moving slower than mobile, and that's just the way it is.
Because nobody's pushing TVs. They're always 2 for $1 at Fry's, and we'll throw in something for you. So, and Best Buy too. We'll throw something in. Just please take our TVs.
It's a really great perspective that you bring up, and it's just not something that I had really considered. We get so locked in with Android in the need for constant updates and what is the next big thing? When are you going to push out a new update that brings all of these core features? It turns out that not all implementation, not all platforms that Android touches need that same frequency of being updated. And when you're talking about a set-top box, maybe it doesn't need to be updated every 6 months. Because what is the competition that isn't based on Android? What are they doing? You never update those, or you're lucky to get an update on those at all, which isn't to say that, okay, then you have a pass, don't ever update your product. But it's just not as essential. Like, get the core features in there, and then as things progress.
I mean, think about what you do when you watch TV. You select a show and you sit there for however long.
Yeah, I do, with a bucket of ice cream.
The majority of your time interacting with the system is you're sitting on the couch. Maybe you're eating a TV dinner. If
ice cream.
Whatever,
Always
ice cream, a pint of something. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. In a way, sometimes the UI just needs to get out of the way and let you watch your show, right? Or your newscast. So,
double chocolate from Strauss Creamery.
Yeah, and let you eat your ice cream. Actually, I'm more of a, 3 Twins kind of guy.
Oh, 3 Twins.
Oh, I love 3 Twins.
I feel you
They're
on
great.
that one. 3 Twins is really
pretty good.
Lemon cookie.
Very good.
Lemon cookie is really good.
Shout out to the Sonoma County ice cream.
Strangely, Tillamook has some really
it does.
good
So
ice
creamy.
cream.
Anyway.
Cool. Let's talk more about ice cream.
Ice cream,
Ice
not
cream's
fragmented.
like my favorite thing in the world.
TVs, they are.
All right, cool. Fantastic stuff. So for people to kind of follow more on what you guys are doing, haystack.tv, obviously, Play Store, iOS, on Apple TV.
We're on Apple TV, obviously all the Android platforms. We're on Amazon Fire TV and Fire TV Stick if you want to get their Chromecast integration on all our mobile apps. And we have a web version too. You can just go to our website.
Nice. Have it everywhere. That's the way to do it. Cool stuff.